Hey everyone, Wanderbot here, and welcome back to Runers. So we're playing as an orc today, Demon Warlock with Kinetic Bolt. Three things I've never used before. No idea how this run's going to go. I have no idea what kind of build I'm running with. It's probably, well, I'm going to try and avoid using Lights Nova unless I like absolutely just continuously get Earth, Light, and Shock. But, you know what? Bet is, we're not going to have that issue. Anyway, we've got an event room. I'm going to pop my head in, see what we got. Let's turn on the map. Come to think of it, otherwise we're going to have some trouble. What is this one? It's hit list. Well, you know what I'm going to do? Instead of specifically doing the challenge immediately, what we're going to do is actually clear out every single destructible in the area. That way, when we come back, it'll at least give us a bonus. No, not bonus, but it'll be easier. Now, my entire goal right now... Let's see. Oh, no, but missed with that one. Oh, interesting. Demon Warlock has a fairly short cooldown on his class ability. Kind of makes sense. It's a nuke type ability, and it actually is long range, so ideally I'd actually like to go with a sniper build, if at all possible. I'll probably revisit the idea of a melee build. Holy crap. That was not what I was expecting from the Demon Warlock as far as the spell goes. I was expecting something that did damage based on how far the projectile traveled. What it actually does is it does damage based on the distance the enemy traveled. So in that case, the reverse is true. We want to go with a largely melee build for today to keep our enemies close and then knock them away. It'd be interesting to do a knockback build. Would probably involve a lot of air magic, but not sure how that's going to. Honestly, it's kind of hard to predict how everything goes. I guess it's kind of a toss-up between doing a... let's just send him all the way off to Never Never Land. I mean, essentially, as long as there's nothing specifically behind an enemy when I hit them, it's pretty much instant death when I use my class ability, which is kind of fun. I have some interesting questions about whether or not it's even usable on, say, a boss, but I don't know. It's the kind of thing that we won't get an answer for unless we actually, try it. So, let's hope we find a boss that we can actually, smack around a little, because that'd be kind of fun. Now, let's take out the Flowing Brand. So, ideally, with this run, I would prefer... Come on, stop. Get over here. Okay. Ideally, with this run, I'd very much like to either get a lot of Mind Runes or a lot of... Because, on one hand, we could go with, like, Prismatic Devil... Maybe. Like, Prismatic Devil would be kind of fun. I used it a little while back. It'd be really crazy if I could do double Prismatic Devil, though. Didn't we run into weird, cooldown-related issues? I'm not entirely sure. I want to class it, oh, shoot. That did not do nearly as much damage as I hoped. I didn't clear out all of the Destructibles. Honestly, the Demon Warlock's ability is... it's not that it's a bad spell specifically, it's just so much that it's a... Oh, interesting. Okay, it's just not a very interesting spell when it comes down to it. Or, say, the Bard, which stuns all enemies in the zone. The Mummy, which makes you invisible for a couple of seconds. I mean, it's not interesting, but it's far more useful than, sending somebody on a spirit quest off to wherever land, which is pretty much death. But, I don't know. I'll probably use it here and there, but I'm definitely not going to use it as much as other ones. And oh, right, I forgot. The entire point of being the orc is the orc, the less health you have, the more damage you deal. So ideally what I actually need to do is stick as low as I possibly can go. I don't want to, like, sacrifice my health, but the entire point here is going to be trying to keep it about 50% health, give or take. I'm not entirely sure what actual health totals I count for, but we're not going to want to stay topped off, that's for certain. Because if I can stay semi-injured, we're going to do at least 50% more damage. So the entire point of this build will actually be to, I mean, really just make sure that I don't die, but can stay at low-ish health. So, we get a Fire Rune, another Mind Rune, or we have 2 Fire Runes and a Mind Rune. So what I'm going to do in that scenario is, I know Flamethrower kind of messed with us a little while back, but I'd love to have Flamethrower right now, because that means we can go back and do hit list, no problem. And we should do enough damage as a result of all of this. that the orc ability is going to be popping pretty hard. Yeah, okay, so what I could do is... I'm trying to remember what the specific spell was, but there's a lightning equivalent to this, where it's like a lightning lance. Might even be called that, come to think of it. Alright, so we've got hit list on, and I need to get that guy. See if... Okay. So the entire point of this build is to... Or, not build, but this exercise is to focus only on... crap. Used my class ability and completely missed. Okay, well, we've only got 2 left, and we're going to be alright. Hit list is a real pain in the butt in comparison to a lot of the other ones. At least there's no cooldown on it, so you could actually be pretty dangerous with it. Anyway, we're not running the elf, so movement speed, I mean, realistically, movement speed was never really that big of a deal. But I'm going to go with damage increase and scavenger, because I'd like to get a bunch of runes here. We're getting close to 50% health, which is good, and we also have a couple of runes, health packs sitting around that should top us off if we need it. And we probably will. So, let's pop down here. Keep going, really. And let's take on all of the rats. Okay, so we've got a +1 hermit. I honestly don't even know what the point of hermits are. Like, they seem like a really, not erroneous, but just a really random type of enemy. Now, thus far, we've already gotten 2 mind runes. And I actually have half a mind to, well, no, I don't even have half a mind. I have a full mind of, let's turn this into a really solid spell. Because I like the speed bolt, but not really. It shoots fast, but not that fast. And this way we should have some very nice strike through and some fairly nice damage. I don't remember how, okay, so pumping mind runes into double mind does increase the damage, it doesn't do anything else. Now the one thing about double mind with how we're using it is it doesn't, we can't specifically have it target any specific place. So normally you can actually have them converge on where your cursor is. In this case, it just goes in a specific direction. I could be wrong about that actually. It could always just go converge in the same area. But the fact that it does strike through is pretty much going to make it a fantastic way of clearing out groups of enemies. And with all the damage boosts, it's probably doing about 5 damage per tick, give or take. Kind of hard to tell, especially with all the numbers flying. But, well, numbers flying and all the enemies around. Try to yee. Well, at the very least, taking damage does actually help us. And so what I'm probably going to do every level is just go until I'm so grievously injured that I need some healing. And then I'll go back and get healed. And then try and get up to full health by the time I leave a floor. Because ideally at that point, we'd be able to, well, go back up to full and then immediately, oh, well, not immediately, but slowly lose our health just over the course of the rest of the level. We got 1 entropy rune. We've actually are sitting on a fair amount of runes at this point. But it's time. Now, the other thing is, I also am just tempted not to go up fully. Yeah, that's going to be close enough. Going up to full health isn't really necessary. We are kind of looking to stay, kind of, I'm not going to say redline it a little bit, but kind of get in there. So speed, entropy, dark. I'm going to go with entropy just because it's the most likely thing we're going to be using here. I don't know. A lot of our spells rely on entropy, and we do have a couple of entropy, whereas we have 0, well, we have 1 entropy, but we have 0 dark and 0 speed. So just out of sheer probability, we're most likely to use those things. Let's get over here and take out this bandit before he does horrible things to us. Really, there aren't a whole lot of horrible things he can do, but, you know, the throwing daggers are technically more threatening than a lot of other things. I also have to remember that I do have the speed bolt, so I can actually fire them off, too. So, we do have a lot of shots coming out. Ooh, Portal Defender. This is going to be interesting. Portal Defender with these specific weapons. I mean, we do a fair amount of damage, so I just have to make sure that we focus on the ones that get close more than any of the other ones. Oh, come on, get out of my face. This is where things break down. Come on. Use my body to block them. Beautiful. Okay. So, because I blocked everything with my body, things worked out. Okay, so crit defense. I almost feel like we never get critted anyway, so there's really not a whole lot of point to that. Crit damage is tempting, but I think I'm gonna go with the Fire Rune. Next up, Soulless Dying, yeah. Critical strikes reduce your target's defense by 10%. I'm gonna go with Soul Rip. It's not very good, but it's gonna help it keep us topped off-ish, even though I'm gonna try and avoid the Soul Rip harps. Yes, Soul Rip harps, to at least some degree. Also, don't forget to use Speed Bolt. I'm trying to remember if I was even using Speed Bolt properly in the event room. I might not have. I might have. I don't know. Okay, so we've got 2 shock runes. I might actually be able to make that lightning spear. Let's quickly go check. Runedex. It's a shock spell, and it's a double one. So actually, we could make... Oh, we could go for a Bizarro melee build. It's tempting. Wait a second. Alright, we know what we're doing here. So what we're going to do is shock. Fire. Right? Molten Hammer. Beautiful. Okay, so now we've got 1. What we need is a water rune. Because this way... Ooh, wow, that does a lot of damage. What's the cooldown? It's a bit on the slow side of things. But it's interesting nonetheless. So, essentially what we have is a flamethrower, a hammer, and then... Oh, wow. That actually spins all the way around. So, honestly, I'm not predicting a whole lot of success out of this entire build, but I'm still interested in seeing where it goes. Because now, we do a lot of damage to enemies in melee. And realistically, I generally prefer doing this sort of thing in a Dwarven build. But at the same time, I'm okay with it. But this does really kind of highlight the problems with a very heavy melee build. You get in there, you're going to get your face handed to you, and it's going to hurt. So, realistically, this might be a short episode. And I know I'm saying realistically too much. It's just a bad habit at this point. I'll get over it. It's like swearing, except for I swear less than I say realistically. But I'm not expecting this run to go very far. The one thing is we can kind of skirt the outskirts of enemies instead of like running straight at them and kite them around. Might actually end up kind of saving our butts here. There we go. Okay. So we can do damage this. Ooh, Grizzly Intellect. It's probably going to save us a little bit. So, oh, interesting. I can't actually use any of my other abilities because between the Fire Hammer and Flamethrower, I can't use any of my other spells. That's a little bit of a suck. I have half a mind to actually replace Flamethrower at this point just because of the, you know, that simple detraction. Because I would very much like to use, you know, other spells because otherwise we're going to run into some serious problems. What I'm going to do... Just keep churning through these guys. There we go. Grab the Soul Heart. Switch out Flamethrower for phase missiles, probably. And let's go into Runedex. And there's nothing for melee. Let's go to creatable spells. Do we got another... There's double lightning. No, that's not what we want. I mean, it's tempting. It's pretty solid, but I was hoping that there would be like a stone sword type thing, and we don't have that. Mighty Cross wouldn't actually be a bad spell, but it's essentially just a kind of crappy version of Lights Nova, which, speaking of, we could actually make. Ooh, we could also make Cosmic Star, which I didn't actually properly use the last time, so let's get up here. Cosmic Star. I could also make... No. Cosmic Star. Light, Entropy. Okay, so let's go back. Let's load up Entropy, Light, and Light. There we go. Cosmic Star. Goodbye, Flamethrower. You're kind of an interesting spell. Let's see how this does. And again, I have my doubts about this. Oh, jeez. That was scary. Honestly, the whole slime surprise has always been a serious issue. Luckily, we did have a couple of spells that kind of help. I actually really like Cosmic Star. It's an interesting spell. I'm not sure how I'm going to use it, if ever, but I'm going to use it for something. Like, I don't want to use it for a Lights Nova type build. It seems like it would be a great addition to the... it would be a great addition to the Dark Wind build. Like, double Dark Wind, double Cosmic Star. Getting those just flying off in a direction. The thing is, though, Dark Wind passes through areas, whereas that gets blocked by impediments like walls and stuff. So, it is a concern. Not sure how I'm going to handle that. Honestly, I'm not sure how I'm going to handle all of this. But it's still interesting nonetheless. Ow. We're getting walloped by something. Let's just wail on the bandit. We're living, though. It's weird. But we are. And I'm kind of enjoying that. Because it's not... It's such an odd run for me. To go, like, full melee. And I think... I'm not keen on it, but it'd be kind of fun to do a all level 1 spell run at some point. It'd honestly probably be a substantial amount of... It'd probably be a substantial amount of Chaos Bolt. Not Droplet, because I think that interfered with stuff a little bit. You ain't getting away. No way, no how. I'm really surprised we're not dead yet, honestly. Like, we're not doing great. But we're living, which is strange. If we get to the boss, are we going to live? Oh, speaking of, I should probably go back and get some health, just because we are very damage prone, and there's no reason to stay less than full health going between floors. So let's go back and grab all these hearts. I know one of these rooms had several in it, and we really only need 2, so I think it might be the next room, and then we'll be all good. Right? Right. Yeah, here they are. It's just a bunch of soul hearts, but we're topped off. Let's bust up these things. Bust up all of these things. Okay, next up, let's check the Runedex, because we might actually have the requisite runes. It's a shock spell. What's it called? It's not Bolterang, though Bolterang is tempting. It's just one of those where it's like, oh, interesting. Bolterang's cooldown is reduced every time, or potentially reduced every time you hit with it. Neat. Okay. Ah, it's Lightning Spear, I believe. It's got a longish cooldown, but you can dump some Dark Runes into it, which is tempting. Yeah. Bolterang or Lightning Spear, both are very tempting, because they're both weapons. The other thing we can do is Ice Sword, which has a slow-ish cooldown, but does slow enemies. I don't know which one I'd prefer. Double Lightning would probably be the best, but at the same time, we use that too much. So, do we have any of these runes? Ah, we got Lightning, Dark, so we could do that. We're doing it. Whatever. There we go. Goodbye speed thing. So, we've got a spear, we got a hammer. Let's see how all of these do together. The answer is poorly, but that's the point. I'm not expecting this run to go well, and that makes it exciting. This also means that we should not be running into any kind of cooldown related problems, which is also going to be nice. So, let's continue, increase our damage. Ideally, I would actually like to get my hands on the sword and Bolterang, so what we need is a lot of shock runes. Chances of getting them kind of low, but it's still worth a shot, worth hoping for. Holy crap, that hammer did a lot of damage. Honestly, all of the spells that we have do a lot, so at the very least, we can try to succeed. Okay, where are you? Okay, there we go. The other nice thing is the Wisp Hunter. I'm trying to hit him, but unfortunately he's kind of a jerk. But the thing is, he has a fair amount of health. I'm just trying to win here. Okay, unfortunately we only have one more Wisp. And I essentially have to take out the Wisp Hunter, who does a fair amount of damage. Come on. Well, I guess I'll just wail on him. There's only one Wisp left. And this puts us in a bad position. Okay, come on. Come on, Wisp. Nope, nope, nope. Got him. Okay, so. Bullet size. Tempting. I don't think density helps us, because that makes it so we don't get knocked back, I think. But a shock rune would potentially mean if we get a water rune or a mind rune, we can make the boomerang. Bullet size, let's do that. It's probably not going to help that much. So next up, let's do latent force. Anybody that touches us gets knocked back, which is kind of maybe counterproductive, kind of maybe. Wait, hold on. I just realized we had a spell that I had forgotten about. Okay, Prismatic Devil. Goodbye, Mind Spear. I'm going to keep phase missiles, get rid of that. Okay, this is going to help a lot. So, unfortunately, we're maybe not a day late, dollar short, but we are in a bit of a bad position in and of the fact that we don't have our secondary spell ready. Okay, I'm going to grab that health, and then we're going to come in here in all of our melee glory. Wow. We are the rotation build right now, and it works for me. Looks like there's some kind of health over there. Probably a soul heart, which is not exactly what we need, but it's what we get. Hey, we get another shock rune, so at the very least there's that. So, honestly, apart from the fact that we're just going to slowly be taking damage along here, this is actually kind of a fun run, because, I mean, look at all that rotation. So what do we want? Geez, a fire rune would be kind of fun, because getting Flame Devil would be awesome. Let's see. The other thing I could very stupidly do, and it's tempting, is, and I said I wasn't going to do this, but it's still tempting. I think I'm going to have to. Okay. Because Lightning Spear, not that great. I said I wasn't going to do this, but let's see. That's a regular Earth Rune, regular Shock Rune. So let's switch them out. Because I want one very solid Lights Nova. Okay. So I'm going to replace Lightning Spear with this. Goodbye. So now we get Lightning Nova. And the next question is, do we want to do double Lightning Nova? Alright. Lightning Nova. Double Lights Nova is tempting. Because between Prismatic Devil and Molten Hammer, anything that gets really close to us takes damage. Anything slightly farther away from us also takes damage. I'm going to go with Cosmic Star just because it does give us the very requisite... actually going to... Let's switch out Cosmic Star. Molten Hammer has a long cooldown. Come on, there we go. Yeah. Okay, so... Molten Hammer has a longer cooldown. This way we'll just be constantly firing off Lights Novas. And it's going to do... long duration, large size. We're not running Elf, so it's not going to be as buffed as I'm kind of hoping it will be. But this way, we're going to be able to fire off all sorts of light things, and we're just essentially a walking damage zone. And I'm okay with this. I do feel bad for kind of going against my word and ending up using Lights Nova, even though I said I wasn't going to. But at the same time, this is too weird of a run not to use it, because it fits the build perfectly. Having a slightly longer range thing and firing off a lot of little light particles, which is kind of nuts. Anyway, let's keep going. So I got 2 speed runes, so if it turns out that the boss is, in fact, Blazia, then we know what we have to do and what we need to do. Wow, that's a lot of health. We're going to be pretty much topped off by the time we get to the boss. Okay, so we can do Mental Mastery, not very useful. Great Wisdom, tempting. Damage Control, I'm not using my class ability nearly as much as I should, but at the same time, I don't really need it. Minimum maximum entropy of mind. It's alright. The thing is, we don't really need a whole lot of entropy levels, just because as much as Prismatic Devil is nice, it doesn't boost that much. Let's go with damage control. Considering we are, I mean, half of the basis of this entire build is taking a fair amount of damage. Next up, we've got some stuff, but it's not great. I could throw an entropy rune into Prismatic Devil, and I probably will. Now, what is the logical, I guess, extrapolation of this entire build? What I'd probably like to do, as much as I like the idea of the Molten Hammer, I would much rather just get an extra Prismatic Devil, if I could spare the entropy runes, because that could make us even more of a Wrecking Ball. Either that or Blazing Devil. Maybe. Like, as stupid as it would be kind of great to do double Prismatic Devil, double Lights Nova, or double Devil Nova. Or, no, I think I'm only going to have one Lights Nova, because the thing is, the spinny blast of projectiles does a fair amount of damage, and it hits enemies, and it's a ranged attack, which is something that we don't currently have built into the build, and I'm not expecting us to either. The other thing that I might do, if it comes down to it, is... Oh, we're up against Dash. Well, I would say I am uniquely built for fighting Dash right now. So, jeez, look at all that damage. Yeah, no, Dash ain't got nothing on me right now. Dodgy, dodgy. Oh, right, I was gonna... yeah, I can hit him with my class ability. Not sure how effective it is, but I can still use it. And let's just sit on the boss, do crazy amounts of damage. So, this truly is the Wrecking Ball build. I love it. Okay, so we got a lot of air runes. What can we do? Pick up items, reduce your cooldowns, not very useful. Battle Hardened's probably going to be the one we go with. That one's tempted too. Seeking Bolt that does 4 extra damage. I'm going to go reduce the effect of Room Auras just because some of them are a little bit on the dangerous side. And that's the last of the rooms. Okay, so first and foremost, let's make a pair of triple combiners. And let's see. Well, I don't have any use for air runes in this entire build, so I'm going to... Oh. Okay, I do have a use for air runes in this build. How no? Oh well, we're not going to need any more speed runes, and we're not going to need any dark runes. So we're going to do double speed dark. Okay, we got Dark Rift. Makes a portal return you return to after 4 seconds. Also gives you a damage increase. Holy crap. That's actually kind of interesting. It gives you a plus 1.1 damage. I'm going to keep that as my passive buff. That's actually really, really useful for what we're doing. I'm just going to have to remember to use it. Okay, next up. As much as I like the idea of Molten Hammer, it does do a lot of damage. Ooh. Okay, so here's the problem. We could make... No. No, I like the idea of this too much. The thing with the hammer is, as cool as it is, it does... I don't know. It does a lot more damage than that ever would. Flow applies a force all bullets in the room for a short amount of time. So it's a long cooldown, but it can be reduced. So you could actually get it so you have a constant force. So I'm going to get rid of phase missiles. Well, think about this for a second. Could boost up the duration and the force. So you know what? Let's see how much the duration goes up by whenever I do this. Yeah, so but if I actually put a bunch of fire and air into that, I could probably get the cooldown and duration to match each other. Currently, I prefer these. Oh, there we go. So I'm going to put entropies into Cosmic Star, because that boosts its damage. Oh, I see. No, it boosts its duration, which is still useful, and light can go in there. But at the same time, it's probably useful in Light's Nova too. I really don't know how this build is working. I'm just kind of mashing it together in interesting ways. Well, either way, we've found 2 interesting and new triple combiner things, and let's go with cooldown reduction because, hey, we're going to attack faster. It's probably the best thing we can go with.